All right, everyone, welcome back. My name is Catherine Alarcio, for those of you who don't know me. We're going to go ahead and get started and get ready for our next session. I'm super pleased to present Dr. Marcela Molina. She's the artistic director of the Tucson Girls Chorus in Arizona, and she has degrees from Westminster Choir College and the University of Arizona. She'll be presenting a session on engaging the community, engaging the family, and engaging the singer. Let's welcome Dr. Marcela Molina.
Hi, everybody. It's so exciting to be here. I'm so sad that I'm not there. I told Jace next time it's gonna be in person. So I'm just very excited to be here and honored to share some of the experiences that we've had at the Girls Chorus, and then just invite you to think about how we engage the community, and maybe find ways in which you can transfer some of this to your own community, knowing how your community works. So I'm just going to share the screen right now. Let's see where I am. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so there you go. Let me just try to put you on the side so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Oops. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of an introduction, I am from Colombia, and I came here 23 years ago. I've been here half of my life. My family is still there in Bogota. And when I came to the Girls Chorus, I was a grad student at the University of Arizona, finishing my doctorate. And they just had a transition turnover from one director to the other. And the morale was low. We had about 67 singers, and so it's been 13 years since I started here, and we have turned around the organization into something that I feel that is more representative of where we are, and has some strong impact. So we have currently 240 members. We serve K through 12 with an alumni portion of it. And we currently have 11 ensembles, and which includes one that is a co-ed, the only co-ed ensemble that we have that is for all abilities, and is directed by a music therapist. And I'll talk all about this, and then engaging programming in satellite locations. One of the things that I have been, that I think that I found with this job is just the importance of community. When I looked at the membership, and when I looked at the demographics of our membership, I saw that we were not reaching, we had this very nice mission, but I felt that we were not really being true to that. Because if we are expecting our singers to come to our location, then we are really not serving the community. So we decided to look a little bit further from our building and try to serve the community to where they are, and make sure that we asked questions. So one of the things that has been important for us, that I've learned the hard way, is to ask what is needed instead of making assumptions of what is needed. When we have this wonderful work that we do with our singers, and we know the power of music, and we know what music can do. But when we are going to a community, to just assume that because music is so powerful, you just need to have this, you gotta have this program. I think that some of those are mistakes that could be resolved if you ask the question to that particular community about what is it that you need, instead of you outreaching to them. Is more of a collaborative process. So then the power of the community then will be in full potential. We have basically two programs here, and the way that we divide it is that we reach deep, which is what we do on a weekly basis here in our location. Week by week we have rehearsals, and then we go out of our building, and we are in Title I schools. So we have two ensembles in Title I schools, and one in another northwest side of town, which is just far from our main building. So what happens there, we just have continuous programming week to week. Then we offer some residencies for undergrad students. So they come to our building. So we have a collaboration with the local university. They come, we are mentoring them, they are observing, and then they are also having some practicum to it. So then we are trying to, in this way, we're trying to invest in our future music educators. That is what we call a reaching deep. A reaching wide is when we go out of the building and we serve the schools. So we have a good relationship with music teachers. We go to the schools when they need it. It's an all year around, of course, free of charge. And we serve the classroom in the way that the teacher needs it, not in the way that we think they need it. So we ask them, what do you need? Do you want us to go and just listen? Do you want us to go and conduct your group? Do you want us to go vocal technique? We have here in Arizona, and I don't know if that is the case in your state, but we have a lot of teachers here that are not necessarily teachers that have a vocal background or a choral emphasis, but they are band music teachers that suddenly are thrown into a choral classroom, and they feel intimidated about it, just like I would if I had to go and conduct band. So we just try to nurture that if they reach out to us. And out of that came out the Reach Out program, which is a program that is just about singing. It's not performance driven. It is about meeting the singer and then just have more of a kind of like a sing along, but it's not too much. It is a little bit more structured than that. So we are collaborating with the Boys and Girls Clubs, just organizations that we have a captive audience. And again, we just go for 6 weeks and we sing with the kids, and it's more of a collaborative process. So they also tell us what is it that they want to sing, and we just sing it together with them. So we go back and forth, and we do have a collaborative process in there. So that is the Just Sing and Reach Out program. And the way that we are then including the student portion of it is that those graduate students from the university are those who are doing the instruction. So they are graduate students that have teaching experience, and then they are going in there. And this program unfortunately got cut short because of COVID. All right, so how we're going to engage the community. So just like I said before, just reaching to collaborate and not to provide solely. So we are not telling them we know how it works, but we actually, let's just hear each other out. So the satellite locations, we go to the schools. What are the problems with the schools here? Or people, why do young singers don't come to our building? Transportation is one of the main things here in our city. It's too spread out. We don't have a good, easy public transportation system that will allow them to come to our service. So what do? We want to create access. Where? Schools that are interested in that. So how? We send our music teachers, we'll send our staff to their schools on a weekly basis. We create a core repertoire among our artistic staff that is going to hopefully, we are thoughtful about, we have the majority of our students here or the majority of our demographics is Mexican American kids. So we want to make sure that we just have something that is traditional to the area that we live in, and that we also expand some, to invite them to travel the world with us. So we go to those schools and we work closely with the school about when is the day that is convenient for them, at what time is the time that is good for them. And then we perform in the communities. We are not interested in just bringing these kids to where we are necessarily. We are in a more of a affluent part of town. So if they want to come, we bring them here, and we have, kind of like a sisterhood session for us on a semester, every semester. But we try to just make sure that we cultivate the community in their community, and we have this ripple effect. So whatever happens there, hopefully, is going to be an investment of their own community. So we build connections with the sister choirs. We bring them here. We try to have some type of activities that will put them together, and they sing together. And we have our U of A graduate students being involved in that. Community partnerships. We work closely with the public schools. We work closely with the charter schools as well. We offer professional development for teachers, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, in what way. We work closely with the local university called department into how are we going to support the teachers. So the multi-layer approach that I talk about is that we start with the singers, by the way, that we just cultivate, singing with them. And then we go into the undergraduate student at the university, and we mentor them. And then we give opportunities and mentorship to the graduate students in collaboration with the other organizations. We work with the local symphony. Obviously, they have educational programs that we have collaborated with them, and also organizations that are non-musically inclined. So we have a project, and I think those are very powerful, because then it gives you more reach to organizations that are and audiences that are necessarily musically focused. So we have a community here that is called Literacy Connects, and we work with them to, they have this program where they go to schools as well, and they are promoting creative writing for the students, and they have this magic box, and then they get these writings, and then what happens is that the organization acts them. They put them as a play, or they put them as a short dance production. So we came in and said, what about we just do a young composers program, where we have a young composer composing the text of this young writer, and then we put it together. The Girls Chorus puts it together. So these are 3 organizations that are working together: the Literacy Connect organization, the singing, and then the composer program from the symphony at this point. And obviously all of those venues that are hosting the engagement choirs. We created a music teacher advisory group, and that has been very insightful, because they are giving us the pulse of really what the teachers need. So too many emails, not good. Too many information, not good, because they are already overwhelmed. So we are being very diligent about exactly to put the efforts of what they need. So again, it's a collaborative process and not just us making assumptions. So out of roundtables from PD sessions that we have had with the teachers they wanted SSAA, a treble high school festival here in Tucson, because a lot of things are in Phoenix for us. So we did that. They wanted a 3 to 6th grade children choir festival. So we did that. So then we just go and collaborate with other organizations to do such a thing. We have a summer camp that I'll tell you a little bit more how we adapted during COVID. Our tours, obviously, are collaborative efforts with other sister organizations. And the Let's Sing program, which is a partnership with Arizona ACDA, which is the one that I just told you about at the Boys and Girls Club, where we create a menu of songs that are taught by rote. They sing together, but they also have a strong say into what also is sung. So we are collaborating with the singers. The professional development for the music teachers and for music ed students is in several ways. We visit the classroom at their request. We do round reading sessions. So right before the beginning of the year, we invite all the teachers. We put together a list of repertoire from unison to 4-part or more, and we just sing with the teachers. And we just give them, we use originals just to make sure that we are compliant with copyright, but we just give them a list of this, this is what worked, we sing it, and this is why it would be successful in or the success that we had in our program. That has been really good. It creates a network, support group for the teachers, some teachers that don't see each other during the year necessarily because they're in different school districts. And the roundtables have been just so enlightening for us about what is it that they need in terms of the support that they are asking for. We were surprised that a lot of them wanted conducting rehearsal technique workshops. So we provided that. And then the idea is that we provide a little bit of the mechanics of it, and then we go into the school and see kind of the phase 2. So there is follow-up, and so they feel that they are taking care of it the way that they need to. And then we're building the future with the undergraduate and graduate students. I'm sure that Q&A, you can put it in the chat, and then we can do it at the end. How we engage the families is that, we have a lot of Spanish speakers in our community. So we do surveys that are in Spanish and English in regards to how the year was. We gather the data and we really look at the data and take action. We are seeking measurable outcomes. And one of the new things that we're doing is we're gathering family history repertoire. So we know what is we ask in surveys, what songs do you remember from your childhood? What was sung to you? For the parents or those families that have multi-generational households, what was sung to you? What did you sing as a kid? So we are gathering rep, and then every year we try to pick a couple of them to include in our whole holistic repertoire. And I think that nurtures familial singing. We want to promote that if it's something that is, if families feel comfortable, obviously. We get parents to be representatives of the choir, that they reach out to the families and then create social events for the singers, end of the year gatherings, and of course our parent volunteers at the front line of all major events that they are representing the organization. Engaging the singer, we are expanding beyond our reach. One of the newer ensembles that we created was our Tutti Choir, which is our co-ed ensemble, and we reach out to a music therapist in our community that is doing that. I have learned so much from that experience, because really to make it on all abilities, we just need to have kids that are not necessarily disabled, to say for lack of a better word, is more, we really are inviting everyone. So we want to create a 50-50 ratio, and they perform with us. And I'll just share with you a little bit of the virtual programming that we did when COVID hit, that they were included. The music curriculum from top to bottom, it is connected through the choirs. We're repertoire based, obviously, and we just want to make sure that we're representing our singers with the music that we are singing. We're cultivating leadership and ownership with our singers when we have open rehearsals and open houses. The social curriculum is important for us. We have mentorship program from the younger choirs to the older choirs, and within our top choir, we have a mentorship program. So the singers that are coming into our new choir, they are mentored for the younger singers from the senior singers from our choir, from our top choir. And when we travel, every single singer gets a postcard from the advanced choir when they travel, saying, I was a ladybug one time, a second and third grader one time, and I just hope that you can stick around and still sing with us. So those are some of the type of like threatening the whole thing, putting a connectivity within all the choirs when we do that, and our alumni choir. So what happens inside the rehearsal hall? I am a firm believer that when you show vulnerability in your rehearsal process, you are going to create trust with your singers. So do you show that when you are teaching? Do you share with your singers? I also struggle. With anxiety. I also struggle. And to just talk about real issues that are, that kind of destroy this image of that there is a conductor and then there is a choir, and you kind of just are the truth of it all. And I just try to have more of a democratic process when we are teaching, when we are singing, and when we are approaching the music. So get away from your conducting. If you're trying to manage everything, just get away from it. When you do less is much better. You open discussions about difficult subjects. I'll share with you, we had picked, one of our choirs had picked a piece by Stephen Foster last semester. And we then, had read all the problematic issues with Stephen Foster songs and the connection with Mistral songs. And we decided to approach it to the choir and tell them, okay, this is a history of this piece. What do you think about it? And it really created a very difficult conversation in the rehearsal, but it was a very interesting process because girls who are on historically very quiet and very shy and very nervous about speaking up were fired up by the conversation. Somehow that was the turning point, and how wonderful that we were able to foster that. And it wasn't as lecturing, it was just like, look what this is. And we decided, if we're going to do this piece, we're going to tell the audience, this is what the background of the piece is, and this is what we're going to do. And the girls decided we're not going to do it, so we didn't. So that is just to tell you that there is just such a power of the vulnerability and having the difficult conversations, and you not knowing the answers. Sometimes they will know the answers better than you. You build a sense of pride through the music making with the ensemble. You develop a sense of belonging, and we all know that when we feel that we belong, we can do greater things. Develop critical listening and assertion that their voice matters. We're building ownership and cultivating leadership. How do we do that? We have officers within the 3 upper choirs. We have section leaders. We have a mentorship program within the ensemble itself, and something that permeates from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, because I think it's important also. The big girls are going to learn a ton from those second graders and those kindergartners, because they were there at some point. The positive pressure, keeping them accountable. The girls are keeping, the singers are keeping accountable. They are keeping everybody else accountable. So it's not my job anymore. They also do it. So we cultivate that. And we really include the singers into the conversation of deadlines and expectations. So they have a buy-in, and again, it's not an authoritarian kind of process. So then COVID hit, and we are like, okay, so what are we gonna do with all of this? So we took this challenge as an opportunity for creative output. And I realized that we had to pivot quickly, and that some of our strong efforts to create access into communities that don't have it, we were not able to do it because they don't have the means to have a computer, internet, et cetera, et cetera. So that is something that currently we just don't know how we're going to build that bridge. But I will tell you what we did from March up until the end. So when we did, we just like, okay, we're going to create the experience of a concert, so they feel like they are working towards something, and there's an end goal, and that we can send something tangible. So we created the concept of a flipping book. I always had the vision that I wanted them to feel like the concept was coming out of them. And so I said, I talked to my team. I said, can we have something that looks or like feels like a program where you can flip the pages, almost like an e-reader? So we found it, and we curated in that way the experience of a program, and we set it aside a concert time. So it wasn't something like that we were going to put on social media. It was like on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. we're going to have a concert, and we're going to send you the link to that concert. So it was specific, and the concept of a no-attend concert. So what was the concert? The end goal was, artistically, we wanted to make sure that we delivered something that the girls will feel, the singers will feel proud of, and then they were working towards a goal. We were hoping, we are a nonprofit organizations, and we monetize for performances sometimes. So how can we translate that to those singers? So we created this program was going to be donation based. So they were going to send the concert. We're going to send the link a couple of weeks before we're going to start promoting the concert. And we're going to tell them, please consider purchasing the price of the ticket per attending member. And we had an array of donations. We had really parents who really were like, I am 5 people in my family. I'm purchasing 5 tickets, or donating what it will be 5 tickets. And we have parents who didn't donate at all. And we have parents who donated $1, and we had donors donate 1,000. So we had just, a varied experience into the financial return. And we were building community. we still were making sure that there was connectivity between the singers and between the families and between our donors. I just put together kind of like just a list of some of the things that we used. I won't go into all of the technicalities of that, but the audio, the video, and the presentation. So I'll show you what the presentation looked like. Okay, so there you go. So I don't know if you can hear. I wanted the sound of the page. I don't know, I'm so crazy. So there you go. So you have that, and then the videos are coming out of the program. So if you put it here, then the video will show up. Good afternoon. My name is Marcela Molina, and I'm the director of the Tucson Girls Chorus. Welcome to our Sons of Spring concert virtual edition. So that was that. And then if you turn the pages, then you're gonna see the program, how it will look like for them if they were to go to a concert. We had the first piece, which was, we wanted to highlight our seniors. So we had them here. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home if we try. This is a little one. So that was our first piece, and we had all of them. Our kindergartners were the cutest ones that you saw in there dancing and with their headphones like crazy. So we have here our Bumblebees and our Northwest Choir, who are kindergartners. I just gotta show you this because it's just too much. They wrote one of the verses. This is our K and first group. Okay, so there's the cutest factor ever. Then we go in order. So we have the conductor talking, and then boom, boom, the girls they're having, and I'll show you a little bit of that. So you see, it just goes into what we would have done at a concert. Boom, 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 our advanced choir. And then this is kind of the end message, and I'll show you some of these videos on another slide. Okay. What are we doing here? Okay, so that was how it will look. I added, oopsie, sorry, I don't know what I did. Okay, I did a presentation in the Arizona ACDA about this. It was all about this. And we collaborated with Dr. Benson, who I think is presenting too here. And he talked about, he did something similar. We had such a different approach to our spring concert, but it was just, really the end goal was the same, which was just create community. And he talked about this backstage pass, and I just have this link, and I will share this presentation to Jay so he can send you that. it's for kind of a backstage pass, and I thought it was really, really brilliant to have that. Okay, I can move this around. Okay, so what were the results? We were able to fund or fundraise $13,000, which blew my mind because I was not expecting any of that. You know, initially it was just like a no-brainer. We just got to do it for the community. We then built this whole campaign around it. A couple of weeks, 3 weeks before, we said save the date. Then we kept going at it with you're going to have this, you're going to have this, there's going to be a link that is going to be sent to you. And before the concert, we had almost the $13,000 in our books. So that was just very motivating for all of us. So brought the community together. It allowed us to engage alumni who have not been able to engage because we are so spread around, and you know, they have their lives. So we have alumni from Japan, from the Virgin Islands, from Washington, from North Carolina, from here in the state that I don't live in Tucson, saying, oh, I do want to participate, because we had one piece where we wanted them to participate. And it was just so inspiring to have the alumni coming back for that. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth for us to even get them to respond to anything. We're not asking of them anything, you know, nothing of them, but still, you know, it is hard to engage them sometimes. And this was a great way to engage them, and it was just, it expanded the connectivity for us. And the mental benefits, I think the singers and the audience needed it just as much. Another thing that it allowed us to do in terms of expanding the connection was that family members who are not local were able to attend. So the aunts, the grandmother, the cousins who live in Texas, in another part of the world, they were able to just come and see it. So that again allowed just another potential of support, and again, just expanding our community. This is how we promoted the video.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcela Molina, and I'm the director of the Tucson Girls Chorus. Welcome to our Sons of Winter. Nope. Our Sons of Spring concert is a little bit of a... We close the doors to our 2GC. Nope.
And we'll create one of those virtual choir things.
Here's a little song I wrote. I want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy.
All right, so we sent that as a teaser and tried to promote the program, and just make fun of myself. It's totally fine. So we wanted to engage the families. We wanted to foster singing in the home. And in order to do it, because everyone was home, so in order to do that, we got to pick something easy that people knew, you know, and it was not the most musically fulfilling, you know, perhaps piece, but it made all those families come together and sing for a minute or two something. This was our closing piece. This is how we engage the families. And our alumni. So that is kind of, you can see an idea. And then at the end, we have basically everybody. That was a big community, just unity. People loved it. The families were involved. The staff was involved. Board members were singing. Their pets were included. Biggest hit ever. I show you this already. This is how we engaged the singer. Each choir had a piece in regards. This is just trying to how we adapted the same multi-layer approach to community engagement into a virtual way. These are tutti choir, all abilities, and we were concerned about, oh my gosh, is this going to translate well for them? And our music therapist, she is amazing. She was able to do it, and I just wanted to show you a little bit what she was able to do. We have non-verbal singers in here.
Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with A, B, C. When you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi. Do, Re, Mi. The first three notes just happen to be Do, Re, Mi. Okay, let's see if we can make that easier.
So a deer, a female deer, ray, a drop of golden sun. Me,
Our go on the right is not
I
verbal.
call myself, far, a long, long way to run. So a needle pulling thread, a note to follow, so tea, a drink with jam and bread. That will bring us back to dough.
And I have one.
Ray, I grab my golden sun. Me, her name, I call myself. Una, Charlie, Budley, Daddy the Turtle, Lucy and Pepper.
So you have an idea of how we engage our tutti choir. And when we heard, when we, so we finished the concert, and when we saw that the alumni was so eager to keep singing because it allowed them to sing at their homes, there is always a song that we sing, a piece that we sing at the end of our spring, when that is very much for the seniors, and it is always the senior piece that they sing when they tour and when we come back from tour at the airport. And it's like I inherited that piece. I didn't invent that. I inherited that tradition. So we decided, let's just sing Homeward Bound and let's just include the alumni. So now we didn't have 40 alumni. We had 80 alumni or interested in collaborating and submitting videos. So we then did part 2 of this engagement. And we had Homeward Bound, where we had starting with the alums of this year.
When the moon has sailed, when the sails of the sea, and the sky is clear and red, when the summer ceases gleaming, when the morning is lost its mind, when adventure has lost its meaning, hurrying over and in time, hurrying on to the past.
So it gives you an idea of how we try to keep the momentum going for our alums. And now we know that this is a possibility, and we're going to try to continue that because this is a great way for those who are not going to ever come back to Tucson to still sing and have some sort of connection with the organization. So I think those kind of like blah, blah, and I speak fast, and I'm from Colombia, so Spanish is just like blum, 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 it comes out of my veins. So I hope that I wasn't too fast, but any questions and anything that I could help with?
Sure. We got some questions in the chat as well throughout, and
Okay.
maybe I can help facilitate this as well, just so you can just focus on answering the questions, Dr. Molina.
Awesome.
So, Sarah, I know that you asked a question in the chat. Do you want to go ahead and articulate that?
Sure. My question was, because there are so many facets to this organization, there's the community outreach and the educator outreach, the student interaction, around how many people are involved, and like, what does the leadership structure look like? How did you build it from the ground up? I know it's a multi-layered question, but I'm looking for just I guess an overview on how you upkeep all of that collaboration.
So, so in terms of staff, I think that is part of your question. Yeah. So in terms of staff, we have 3 full-time employees. We have an administrator that helps, an office manager, and we have a community engagement director. And I think she has been key for us to be able to crystallize all the vision of getting out and engaging the community, and myself. And then we have part-time bookkeeper, part-time assistant director, and then an hourly staff of conductors and pianists. So I would say that the community engagement director and myself are heavily involved in anything that has to be with outside of the building. And so she does a lot of the school visits, and so do I. So we strategize, we put ideas together, and she basically makes it happen.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Sobel asked the question, what's the software/website used to make the booklet?
It's called, so if you look at the slide, it was, let me just start, I want to make sure that I give you the right name. It's called Flipping Book. Flipping Book. And I can share the presentation with you, Jace, and you can just share it with everybody. It's Flipping Book. I mean, we paid like $130 for a month of that. So we've kept using it because I've presented on it, I've shown it, and we wanted to still send it to some of our donors, stuff like that. So we have a couple of months of doing that.
Okay, awesome. Trish asked, what is the choral track from, I'm sorry, Trish, I'm not really following the question. Could you go ahead and say this better than me?
Sure. Hi, Marcella.
Hi, Trish.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So what is the choral track? You said that there was a choral track for the symphony program that the symphony uses. And my second question is, could you speak a little bit more about your mentorship program? Thanks so much. Fabulous presentation.
Oh, good. So for the choral track, this is what we're trying to build. So they have a TSO, it's Tucson Symphony, TSO for Kids program, and they basically do this educational programs that are obviously heavily orchestral oriented, teaching the kids what a bassoon is and having what a string quartet is. So when I approached them, I was like, the voice is an instrument and the voice collaborates with the instruments. So can we have a choral track to that? So for that educational program, then we presented, and this what is called TSO for Kids, and we presented on the voice. So that was our first one. And step 2, we're trying to collaborate. They have a young composers program that is obviously for orchestra, but I suggested I'm working with them to see if the students are interested in learning about the voice, because if they want to become composers, eventually maybe they will compose for voice and orchestra. So can we expand their knowledge? And then we will be a part of that program. I put together kind of guidelines of what the voice, so like if you are going to write for elementary school, this is kind of the register, this is their tessitura. If you're going to write for high school, and then just have kind of like some structure around what a vocal program will look like for composers. And so we're working with them based on interest and capability of instruction to have that collaboration come into fruition. Yeah, no problem.
Are there any more questions for Dr. Molina? Awesome. Oh, go ahead, Christine. I see your hand. Thank you.
I put in the chat. I have a question. How long did it take to put this together?
The virtual concert?
Yes.
I have PTSD from it. I can tell you that much. You know, I am so lucky because I have two amazing team players with me that are techie, so they're not afraid of digging into that. So I had one of them taking care of the audio and one of them taking care of the video. And I was just trying to sustain them both while they were doing really the hard work. So it took us really a couple of really tough weeks where that's all we did. It was just hours and hours of editing. And I think we went a little overboard. But you know what? It was super well worth it, because I think that it showed us that we are also resilient, and we were able to pivot and create something. And I think it showed the girls that they were also able to pivot and create something. So I think it was just a wonderful learning process for everybody. And we were not afraid of telling them, I'm sorry, we messed up. Can you do it again? That was, you know, we learned also by giving the instructions that were not the best instructions for them to do it, especially the older girls. We had to be like, do it again. I'm sorry, that was not, you know, we could have given better instructions. So we counted on especially the people who being patient with us.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Molina, thank you so much. I think your session really encapsulated our previous Aloha No'eau this morning around the resilience of an a'ali'i. And I just want to thank you for modeling vulnerability and for just being such a brave navigator at this time in connecting people together and seeing the infinite possibilities that are before us. And so we thank your innovative spirit. I will be sure to send your slides out to all participants by the end of today. And can we all give Dr. Molina a round of applause?
Oh, thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Next time in Hawaii.
Oh, for sure. Count on it. Thank you, Dr. Molina. Take care.
Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Aloha. Friends, it's 12:01. We will reconvene in 4 minutes. I'll see you at 12:05. Have a fantastic break. Aloha.